Hey everybody, welcome out to the Dice Tower. My name is Chris, and today I'm going to be going over my top 10 worker placement games, a genre that I love, that I could wax on for many, many more than just simply 10. So I had to pick 10, and will I regret these choices in a year? I don't know. We'll see. So let's go ahead and start off. My number 10 pick for the worker placement genre is Targi, a game that I think does a mix of worker placement, but it's still kind of front and center, and that's a theme that I think you'll see with a lot of the picks here that made the list, is there are other great games. For example, Unconscious Mind didn't make the list because it is worker placement driven with a lot else going on. Targi has a simple grid where you place around the edges, and the one nice little wrinkle on with it is that wherever you're on the outside of the top and on the side edges here, wherever you place your workers, where they intersect, you'll also gain a bonus card from the middle. So you take the actions on the inside, and you're trying to collect certain types of cards in the middle. It's a delightful puzzle. It's for 2 players only, which is good because at 2 players it already is so tense and gets so tight, and you're constantly going to be frustrated with your opponent. This is one that had to grow on me. I didn't love it my first play, but upon seeing how brilliant that design is, man, I've really fallen in love with it, and that's my number 10, Targi. Number 9, an older game than that even, Aladdin's Dragons. This is a mix of worker placement, but also a little bit of bidding, because you put your worker tokens out onto the board face down, and then at the end of the round, once everyone has placed all the workers out, you flip them face up, and whoever has the highest total number dedicated to a spot is going to take that action first. In some of the spaces, where especially the resource collection, you'll get the most and the second most, third most. In some of the other spots, it's only one, first come, first serve type of a situation, or the highest amount. And then in other spots, it's a little bit of a bid. So it's this worker placement mixed with this little bit of bluffing and reading the opponents. It's so satisfying. Very wacky, a little more whimsical than a lot of the other picks here. Not like a straight draw Euro, even though it looks like it. But anyway, number 9, Aladdin's Dragons. Number 8, Darwin's Journey is one of the more modern, big beastie kind of worker placement games where you can upgrade each of your workers by giving them these different color wax seals, giving them access to stronger versions of actions on the board. You open up action spaces a little bit like Lords of Waterdeep, which didn't quite make my list, but a classic still. But in Darwin's Journey, as you open up action spaces, you also get to fire those actions off. And so it's so satisfying to be able to pull off these sneaky moves. You have this little bit of thematic touch as you explore with the ship along the ship track, which lets you explore more of the islands. So satisfying, especially with the expansion. It ramps it up. So that is number 8, Darwin's Journey. Number 7, Coal Baron. Coal Baron's one of those games that gives you a lot of workers at the start of the round. You have about 20, and you can place them onto all these different spaces. You're trying to take actions to go digging in your mine. You have to spend actions to dig out the mines further. You run some actions to run the elevator shaft up and down, and you're grabbing contracts to fulfill. It's so good. But as soon as someone takes a spot you want with your worker, you look at it and go, well, I'll pay 2 workers to kick your one out. And then someone goes, I want that spot. They'll spend 3 workers to kick your 2 out. And then you start realizing, those 20 workers that I started the round with can dwindle a little faster than I was expecting. Over 3 rounds of play, there's amazing majority scoring, nice recipe fulfillment. Coal Baron is such a good game. I hope that the new edition is not as ugly in person as it looks online. So anyway, my number 7, Coal Baron. I have the classic edition for a reason. Number 6, Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar. Not a ton of brand new games on this list. Tzolk'in goes way back. This is one of the first crunchier, tighter games that I remember playing, as you place your workers out onto these gears, and at the end of every round, you turn the central gear, and all the satellite or exterior gears rotate 1 step, meaning that your worker is going to advance further and further in these action spaces to take stronger actions. The timing of it is so crucial, and a lot of people might not like it because of how calendrically tight it is. You can't really mistime things. I was so bad at this game the first several times I played it. I thought I didn't like it. I came back to it months later and I realized this is so fun. You just have to kind of wrap your head around it. I've loved it ever since. One that I play a lot on Board Game Arena too, actually, but one I'm still very, very excited to be able to play anytime in person. Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar. Number 5, Agricola, All Creatures Big and Small. Not the big boy Agricola, a game I enjoy plenty, But the small little Agricola, only for 2 players, it's tight, it really tenses up everything in a smaller package. And if you get the expansions, the more buildings, and the even more buildings, very inspired expansion name choices, I find that this game is more robust than its small box would allude to. Even though if you buy the big box edition, it's like a normal-sized Agricola game almost. It doesn't need to be. But anyway, I think that with those little expansions in there, man, this is such a phenomenal, an amazing game where you have 3 workers every round, that's it, go build up your farm. But with those specialty buildings especially, you can really kind of hone in on different strategies, and it unlocks new potentials, and it's different from game to game. If you get just the basic version of it, it's still really good. It's still very cute, but it's up this high because of those expansions, or the big box edition. Number 4, Raiders of the North Sea. This is a wonderful, I love the little touches where you place a worker out every round, but also after that you return a worker from a different spot to your board. So you always have a give and a take, and you get to take both of those actions. Very fun, very simple set collection. Not super simple, but it is straightforward in a lot of good ways with a nice amount of choices. And you go raiding to these different spots and pillaging. The dice rolling is fun in it, but it's it plays second fiddle. I think the main joy of the game is building up that crew in your ship and the exciting worker placement. I love this one. So yeah, one of my favorite Garfield games. Though my favorite Garfield game, Paladins of the West Kingdom, did not make the list because I don't consider that a true worker placement game the way that I consider Raiders of the North Sea. Number 3, the brand newest, hottest, spankingest new game on the list, and this is Galactic Cruise. I find Galactic Cruise to be one of the most satisfying, heavy, involved games I've played in a long time. I'm really, really loving this one. Play after play after play, and it's one of those games I just want to keep playing. It has a great little system of worker placement where you put a worker out there, and if you build this connected gear of networks, you don't have to take just actions in the spot you go to. You get to take 2 actions every round, but also you can use adjacent spots if you've built up the network, or if you pay other players to use their network. Or you take your worker and you actually make him a cruise director and you send him off on the cruise ship that you've been building up all game, and he goes and flies in outer space for a couple of rounds, so you are actually lessening your worker pool. You have fewer workers to work with because they're out in space showboating and taking people on a cruise of their lifetime. I love the theme, love the worker placement. Galactic Cruise, my number 3. Number 2 is Dune Imperium. And while this has a lot of the deck building in it, I find this game to be about equal parts deck building and equal parts worker placement. Both are crucial, both are tense. And man, when someone takes the spot you were really hoping to in Dune Imperium, it hurts so much and you have to rethink what are you going to do with this hand of cards. I like both versions, but I know Dune Imperium, the basic one, far more. I just bought Uprising, but there's not a wrong way to play the game, and I think that that's at least a good sign right there. I particularly love Dune Imperium with the Immortality expansion. That's my favorite. Woo! But that's a little bit more of the deck construction side than the worker placement side. Doesn't matter. Phenomenal game. That leaves my number 1. This is by and far my favorite Uwe Rosenberg game. This is A Feast for Odin. I consider this a masterpiece of game design that while it has 63 worker placement spots, it seems far too many, they are organized in such a way that makes this game playable to me. I think that the brilliance of the rows and the column system, that if you want to take a stronger version of an action, you have to pay 2 or 3 or 4 workers to do it, and they're all organized in these rows of similar types of actions, makes this game phenomenally fun. There are some highlighted actions where you see someone take the spot and you're like, no, how do you know that's the one spot I wanted to go to? Well, we all want to go whale hunting, don't we? Ooh, okay, so how do I pivot now? Thankfully, the 62 other spaces, but some of these spaces I don't have the right type of ship for, so I know I'm not going there anyway, right? So anyway, it's just, I think, some of the most clever and best use of worker placement, a great system for it, phenomenal game all around. This is one I love, and I'm currently actually playing on Board Game Arena as well, and I think it just works so well in person or digitally, whatever. My favorite worker placement game. So there you go, folks. Many games couldn't make the list because there's only 10, so you might comment and you say, but what about this one? I probably considered it, and it probably just didn't eke in the top 10 there. So But still, please go ahead and include what are your favorite worker placement games. I'd like to hear that. And so anyway, thanks for coming out to this top 10 list. My name is Chris Yee. Have yourselves a great day.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video on the Dice Tower. Hey, do you want to know what's going on with Dice Tower? Do you want to know about our events, our cruises, special things that we're going to do live here in the Dice Tower? Subscribe to Dice Tower Digest. Go to dicetowerdigest.com. It's a newsletter that we send out bi-weekly. We won't use your email for anything else. This is just to get you some information about the Dice Tower so you'll be up to date. Thanks for watching.